So I want to read 9 verses to show you what the one thing that Pride Month will not tell you. When has pride ever been a good thing? Question. This is just to begin it off here. When was pride a good thing? In any other subject, when was it good? Will shame you, they'll drag you down the mud, and you will lead the route of many that we see on social media, if you had pride in any areas. But in this area of June, it's okay. My friends, let me tell you, the devil is very sneaky, and he will look for anyways. But I'll run through these verses very quickly, and just maybe some of them are going to be new, some it will not be new, but it might be a fresh idea for those that are particularly side with this whole thing of pride and whatnot, and you know what's happening. So, question: when was pride ever a good thing? It's the Rick Reality Show with the daily Christian commentary videos. If it's the first time of the year, to be sure to check out some other videos that are down in the pinned comments, and I'm gonna check you out over there. First verse to begin with is Psalm 104. Verse number 4 there. Actually, if you started from 3, it says, "For the wicked man boasts in his cravings," the cravings of his heart in particular, the verse says. And it says, "He blesses the greed and reviles the Lord." How does he do this, you might ask? The verse goes on to say, "In his way," okay? This is his path. "In his pride, the wicked man does not seek him." He doesn't seek God. So remember at the beginning that because of the cravings that he has, he will create an area or environment of safe space, you might call it that. Because this is what he prides himself in. And it goes on to say that in his pride, the wicked does not seek God. In all his schemes, there is no God. And so you will see. You'll see why do they tag pride along this subject. Yeah, this month. Okay, we don't need to even go any further. He that has an ear, let him hear. If you can't hear any further, it's fine. Stick to the politics. We are not taking politics. But question: can you not see the deception here? There's no pride outside of this topic. It's shunned. But here it's accepted. There's a deception that's going on, friends. You have to wake up to it. And you go all the way to Proverbs chapter number 16, and this is what it says. It says, "For the Lord has made everything for his purpose." This is very important. God has structured things according to his purpose. Okay? He's God after all. And the Bible then goes on to say, verse number 5, "Everyone who is proud in heart is detestable to God." So notice, he said pride is detestable to God. And then here there is a situation where we put a 30-day period where pride is, the enemy is very clever. It goes on to say, to speak of the punishment that comes with that. It says, be assured, in the later part of the verse, it says, "Be assured that he will not go unpunished." That is not me. That is the verse. Why? His pride shows him the destruction of his heart. As a matter of fact, if we go to the 3rd verse here, which will be Proverbs chapter number 8, verse number 12 all the way up until 13. If you read that entire thing, it says, "I, wisdom, dwell together with the prudent." Okay? So those that prize wisdom. Okay? And then it goes on to say, "I find knowledge." And then it goes on to 13. And then it says, "To fear the Lord is to hate evil." What did we hear about the one who is evil, or the one that dwells in evil? He does not have God in his path. And then so here it goes on to say, to fear God is to hate evil. I hate arrogant pride. But here, what are they telling you? You go on all the way down to Romans. And this is what Romans chapter number 12 tells us. Do not be conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Do not let ideas of the world or ideas of people. Now, when the Bible talks about the world, there is also less the world as a whole, but also it speaks of the system, how the system corrupts individuals, whether it be the politics of it or the agendas that come from it. These things can corrupt the man. He says, do not be conformed to that, but conform yourself according to the way the word actually wants you to be. That's a hint of where we start when we are speaking about thinking. But another interesting verse, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Verse number 5, it says, a man's pride will bring him low, but a humble spirit will obtain honor. Are you hearing a tone here that the devil's deception is very much rooted at trying to bring you to ruin? The question is, what do you support? You are behind this thing. You are there busy flagging yourself. You are flagging yourself with all colors and stuff like that. But you've not noticed the devil is very smart. He will come in there. Even in the garden, that's exactly how he came. He comes in as that serpent. Go back to the next verse, verse number 6. And this is what it says. This is 1 Peter chapter number 5. Okay, you can take it from verse number 4 up until 5. But I'll read 5 and it says, young men, in the same way, submit yourselves to your elders. Okay, because it's going to bring up something that's very crucial here, contrary to pride. It says, submit yourselves unto your elders, and all of you clothe yourself with humility. This is the thing that must show you, that people must see in the public. Now, with this month, what do they say? They say, show yourself in pride to this. Dress yourself in this. They prescribe what they say is continue. It says, clothe yourself in humility towards one another. Okay, so it's not just how you dress you individually, but this reflects to the other. Interesting. Okay, clothe yourself towards another, because God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. So when they are saying be proudful, what are they saying? Be destructive, be rejected, be opposed to God. Be opposed to God. Number 7th verse, it says, this, the way it puts it here, I'm going to just kind of like lay it the way it puts it. It says, when pride comes, disgrace follows. This is Proverbs chapter number 11, verse number 2. When pride comes, then, oh, wow, disgrace follows. That's exactly the way the verse puts it. It says, but with humility comes wisdom. One, remember, wisdom is knowledge to navigate life. You can, in simple terms, knowledge to navigate through life. So in all your dealings, knowledge to navigate life. But then they tell you, no, be proudful about this, be braggadocious about this. What are they bringing you to? They are bringing you to ruin. And the Bible actually goes on to say that the integrity of the upright, okay, those that are recognized unto God, guides them. Okay? And then he says, but the praise, Jesus, of the faithless destroys them. That's the verse. In this pride that people are told to portray, there is distraction, and it does. Okay, let's go on to the 7th, to the 8th verse. Okay, the 8th verse, then it's James chapter number 4, and listen to what verse number 6 actually puts out. It says, he gives us more grace. That is why he says God opposes the proud but gives grace to the humble. So the verse actually, if you take it from 5, it says, and do you think that the scripture says without reason that the Spirit he caused to dwell in us yearns with envy? So basically it pushes us, it brings us towards relationship with God. So notice the opening of that. The verse says, do you think he says this without reason? The Bible has reason for why it restricts us in certain areas so that we do not come to our ruin. Okay? The 9th verse that I'm going to read for you is Proverbs chapter number 16 and verse number 18. And it's actually, if you start from 17, it says, the highway of the upright leads away from evil. It has its path away. It moves away from evil. And then you will notice then, it then goes on to say, he who guides his way protects his life. And so one who hears what God's instruction and follows that protects his life. Oh, but there is an opposition. There is the other group. Okay, it says pride goes before destruction and haste spirit before a fall. The Bible does not lie. The Bible tells you to go the opposite direction of pride. But woman them. Listen to the last verse, the 10th verse from Jeremiah chapter number 9. I could not have taken a better verse to close off this subject. And this is what the verse actually goes on to say. It says, this is what the Lord says. Let not the wise man boast in his wisdom. So you've acquired an understanding. Don't boast in that. Okay? Don't boast in what you think or you've acquired in your knowledge and what you've studied and so forth. He says, be very humbled about all of that. Okay? Okay, says don't boast about that. He says, let not the wise man boast in his wisdom, nor the strong in his strength, nor the wealthy in his riches, but let him who boast in this, that he understands and knows me. Let your pride be in knowing God. God, you will notice here, God tells us where our identity is. Our identity is in knowing God. They patch a flag, run with this. Be proud about this. And you will notice, you remember the previous verse. The previous verse says, God does not do this without reason. He says he does this with reason. And then this verse comes through and it says, our identity or the area of our boast or the area of our pride is that God knows us and we are known of him. That we know him. That's the one area of our boast. Any other thing, be very careful. The world is very deceptive. You will notice, out of all the verses that I've given you, which drags you towards all things, notice that it has nothing to do with this. It has nothing to do with whether you know God or you are known of him. It is that you know yourself, and everybody else must celebrate you because you know yourself. Pride goes before a fall. And so why is that subject not a conversation of this month? When was pride ever good in any other situation except now in this topic? It's Ricky. I'll see you on a later on episode. I thought just to let's calm a little bit down here and let's be careful of the enemy's devices. And we are not even talking about the topic of the we're not talking about the topic of the flag. I'm questioning the topic of the pride that you put there. Pride, that part, pride there. Are you sure about Mandems? I'm just asking a question. It's the Reality Show with daily Christian commentary videos. If it's your first time over here, to be sure, check out some other videos that are down in the pinned comments. And I hope this video finds you well. Other videos down today, they'll be down in the pinned comments. And yeah, have a good one.